Open the bonnet, identify where you would check the engine oil level, and tell me how you would check that the engine has sufficient oil. First, pull the lever to open the bonnet. This may be in a different place on different cars. Then, moving from left to right with your left hand, unhook the hook from the loop that secures the bonnet in place. Then rest the bonnet on the arm on the left hand side, ensuring that the arm goes through the eye so the bonnet is safely secured. Now just tell the examiner the red loop is connected to the dipstick. When you pull out the dipstick, you should wipe it clean with a dry cloth and then reinsert it. When you pull it back out again, the oil level should be between the minimum and the maximum markers, and you should top it up accordingly. Open the bonnet, identify where you would check the engine coolant level, and tell me how you would check that the engine coolant has the correct level. First, identify the engine coolant reservoir. It's the one with the light blue cap and a picture of a thermometer on the front. Then tell the examiner that the level should be between the minimum and the maximum markers. Open the bonnet, identify where the brake fluid reservoir is, and tell me how you would check that you have a safe level of hydraulic brake fluid. First, identify the brake fluid reservoir as the one with the yellow cap, then tell the examiner that the level should be between the minimum and the maximum marker on the side. Open the bonnet, identify where the windscreen washer reservoir is, and tell me how you would top it up. First, identify the windscreen washer reservoir, that's the one with the dark blue cap. Then tell the examiner that you would flip the lid, and then you would top it up on a regular basis with windscreen washer fluid. Tell me where you would find the information for the recommended tyre pressures for this car, and how tyre pressures should be checked. The information for the recommended tyre pressures for a car can be found in the manufacturer's guide. Check the tyre pressures using a reliable tyre pressure gauge when the tyres are cold. Replace the tyre valve caps when finished, and make sure that you do not forget the spare tyre. Tell me how you would check the tyres to ensure that they have sufficient tread depth and that their general condition is safe to use on the road. You should use a tread depth gauge to ensure that there is a minimum of 1.6 mm tread depth across the centre 3/4 breadth of the tyre around the entire circumference, and there should be no cuts or bulges visible on the tyre. Tell me how you would check that the brakes are working before starting a journey. Brakes should not feel spongy or slack. You should test the brakes just after setting off, and the car should not pull to one side. If they do feel spongy or slack or pull to one side, have them seen to by a qualified mechanic. Tell me how you would check that the headlights and tail lights are working. Tell the examiner that you would switch on the ignition without starting the engine, you would turn on the lights, and then you would walk around the car checking that the headlights and the tail lights are working. Tell me how you would make sure your head restraint is correctly adjusted so it provides the best protection in the event of a crash. The centre part of the head restraint should be about level with the top of your ears or your eyes. Some head restraints may not be adjustable, but you adjust this head restraint using the buttons on either side. Tell me how you would know there was a problem with your anti-lock braking system. When you start the car, the ABS light should go out. If it stays on, take the car to be seen to by a qualified mechanic.